Okay, happy Sabbath. This is preparation day, Friday evening sunset. Okay, Sabbath, of course, everybody knows sunset is sunset. So, hoping everybody out there is doing the same thing by obeying the fourth commandment. Yes, yes, yes. Got to obey all of his commandments, not some of it. Not some of it, but all of it. Don't let Satan dispute these scriptures in this Bible trying to get you not to obey. Ain't nothing changed. Whatever is stated that may seem like it's changed, you better ask Yahweh for some true revelation of his word before you take things on your own understanding and disobeying. You have to obey God's commandments. You have to obey the Sabbath. So, coming to you this evening about my life. I said I was going to make a video about the things that I've been through in the past, and I was going to bring you up to date of why I'm blessed today. And when I realized that I've been chosen all along, didn't know it. Okay. Starting off with Pure Leaf Black Unsweetened Tea. I won't go back too far. I don't want to take up the video time and all that. But yeah, I was on and off homeless ever since I was like 15. The curse of me becoming homeless started back when I was like maybe 10 or 11 or whatever, maybe 12, when my mother started committing adultery, in the family. So basically, when she was doing what she was doing, living foul, it brought a curse on the house. It brought a curse on in the house. And I was part of that curse. I was the oldest. Well, still is the oldest. I'm the oldest, but, the curse came about. And things was just separated ever since then when we got evicted. When we was coming up, we got evicted because of some things that she was doing or whatever, and it had nothing to do with no rent at all. But we ended up kind of like splitting apart. Siblings over here, siblings over there. The ones that was favored went back to the new apartment. The ones who wasn't favored had to stay at grandma's house. So I'm going to just put it in that content like that. And of course, I was one of the ones who stayed at grandma's house. And this is when she moved into the new apartment with the person she was committing adultery with. Had a baby by the person and everything. So, but it was the beginning of the trial that I was set to go through as a young teenager, a young child. Didn't know what was going on because it was just me at the time going through this. And I'm the oldest out of 6. Out of 6 kids, I was the one that was going through the most turmoil coming up. Now, I had my little faults and stuff too now, because when I was left with grandma while mommy over there and dad wasn't in the picture, daddy was in the picture on and off. He was over somewhere else with his girlfriend and babies and stuff like that. So he wasn't there 100% either. May he rest in peace. But so, while I'm doing my thing at granny house because I didn't have no supervision, I ended up getting pregnant at 14. So that really topped the favoritism right there. I want nothing. I'm this, I'm that, and the other. Yeah, I'm fast all of a sudden, whatever. So, just letting you all know out there, if you have children and you decide to leave your kids abandoned or whatever, so you go live your life and they like 12, 13, 14 years old, girl or boy, and you leave them here and leave them there and they get pregnant or they end up having a baby, it was their decision to do the things, but if they're not being supervised or being loved or being disciplined or being trained or whatever, however you want to call it, if you're not there as a parent should be, it's your fault if your teenager becomes pregnant or end up having a child. So let's just get that out the way. Anyway, so like I said, I had my faults at times, whatever, but of course I was young and stupid. But, so, becoming older, whatever, throughout the circumstances with the person she was committing adultery with, the guy who she was having an adultery with, he was liking me. Didn't know it until my sibling told me, and I still didn't believe it. But yeah, come to find out, he was favoring me, and she found out because she said she seen him on top of a crate looking over, because we had a window over our door, in our bedroom door. Said she caught him looking up 2 o'clock in the morning, staring at me. Now it's me and my sister in the room, but that's what she said. So that morning, or I think it was that morning or whatever, she was telling me to get out because she caught him staring up there looking at me. Get out, you're not gonna mess things up between me and him. So I was like, wow, really? I think I was like maybe like 15 or 16 at this time. So I'm like, okay, are you serious right now? You caught him staring at me, but you put me out. She said, because she ain't trying to mess, she don't want me to mess things up for her. Now this is what my mother was thinking about. My mother was drinking real heavy then, I guess because she was stressing or whatever, I don't know. But see, when you commit adultery, you putting a curse over yourself, so of course you want to live the way you want to live at this point. But as adolescent, my adolescent years, I was definitely on and off, in and out the streets and stuff like that. But I definitely stayed in school. So we're going to get that out the way. I did graduate. I walked across the stage and got my diploma. I had to do that because I felt like if I was going through all that coming up while I'm still in school, why would I drop out? If I drop out now, then I know I'm going to have it even harder when I become an adult to try to get a job. So I still stuck in school, and everybody knew I was homeless. I was wearing the same clothes every day, and I slept over a friend's house, over my, friend's house over here, their mama house, their cousin house. So everybody at school knew I was homeless. I wasn't the only one homeless that's coming up back then, but they knew I was. I'm just saying, So, skipping some times and years, whatever. I did go to jail one time. I decided to sell drugs. When I was 16, I started selling drugs, little baggy cocaine bags, and come to find out it wasn't real. They said, I don't know. They said it wasn't real, but the police then they didn't look at it as it wasn't real. They still charged me with a felony or whatever. And the only reason I was charged with a felony because I didn't go to court. See, I'm 16 when I got caught, and of course I'm stupid, dumb, whatever, thinking I'm slick, so I didn't go to court. They would have dropped it because it was first time felony, so they would have dropped it, but I didn't think it. I didn't care. So I was on the run for a whole year. So when I finally ended up going back to jail, when me and my pops got into it, I stayed with my pops at 17. Me and him got into it. He was the type who didn't care for me because, like I said, I was the shortest, I was the fattest, probably the ugliest out of all my siblings because everybody else was thin, built, petite, a little brighter, tall, skinny, whatever how you want to call them. And out of all my siblings, they looked favored. And out of all of them, I looked the shortest, different, or whatever. Plus, I was a tomboy, so, I was very odd from them. So, I was totally the eyeball. And he said, he's like, man, you look like this. You like, yeah, that's my pops. But, so I was favored. I was like the black sheep. Totally treated different from all my siblings, but I stood strong at times. I didn't care. I stood strong because it was something about my spirit that was telling me to just go on and just be a beast about this. Don't trip. I was hurt at times. I was definitely hurt, bullied a little bit, but, I stood strong about it, though. You know what I'm saying? Something in my spirit was telling me to just be strong. So, yeah, so me and my pops had got into it when I was 17. I was staying with him. He had a strong anger issue. That's what killed him to this day, y'all. He died in 2015 from hypertension and hypoglycemia, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so he actually died from hypertension. I think that's what did it, though. He had a couple of strokes, whatever. He's the type of person, if you drop a spoon in the sink and then wash it, he would have a whole hissy fit about you not washing that spoon. He used to be in the army and all that. But, yeah, letting you all know out there, that's the reason why we got to work with our anger, calm down at times, because I'm telling you that stress and that hypertension will kill you. Being angry and, over the slightest thing that send that blood pressure, boop, pop one of them vessels and it's over. So, anyway, yeah, he was a very, very, very angry man. Very angry, petty, all that, but I still love him, though. So me and him got into it, and I pulled a knife on him. I wasn't going to cut him, but I was going to defend myself if he had put his hands on me again. So he got scared and called the police. I didn't care at that point, not at all. He knew I had a warrant, so he called me and told me I had a warrant. I ended up coming. I went downstairs. And I waited on the police. Told me, look, y'all looking for me. I didn't even run. I just got tired of everything at that point. Went to jail. Did 2 months in the county jail, whatever. Got out on probation. Did my thing. But a year after that, that's when I stayed with him again for like maybe like 3 or 4 months. And then he kicked me out again as soon as I turned 18. Said, get out. So, okay, at 18, I'm solid out there on my own. Now, this is when it begins of my life becoming at this point where I know I had to take control of things. Like I said, I graduated at 19. I went on to graduate. I finished school. Oh, yeah, when I got pregnant twice. I got pregnant at 14 and at 16. I had abortion at 14. I had a miscarriage at 16. So, I didn't have no kids at this point. So, yeah. So, even though I did graduate at 19, this was the turning point where I had to just say, I can't do this no more. I can't be around these people. I got to get out on my own. I just got to get out. I'm done. So I started hustling or whatever, years passed by, I'm still out there on the streets. So I'm 21 at this point. Selling Streetwise papers. Y'all seen the video down there with me selling Streetwise, talking to one of the CEOs. I started selling Streetwise. Now I'm 21, homeless still. I want to be a rapper. I want to do music. And I'm still out here at this point, struggling on the streets, fighting dudes at this point, cutting up people, whatever, So one of these guys came back. His name was Ali. And he was an older guy. I was 21. He's like maybe like 41. And he was weird looking. Like, I'm like, what you, bud? Why is you looking at me? He said, you know what? He gave me $60. I was like, whoa, man, okay, cool. I said, you want a paper? He said, I'll take a paper. And he was like, you know what? You know your Bible? I was like, what? I was like, no. And I used to drink on the spot where I sold my paper. I used to drink my little beer. I used to have my little beer in a little piece of paper or a brown paper bag and just drink my beer. He said, oh, you got you a little cold? And I said, yeah, I do. And yeah, But he said, okay, well, you need to learn the word. And I'm like, oh, here we go again. And then that was that. But he used to come like maybe twice a week, right over there. He come right towards me. He was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have Bible study with you one day. I was like, man, come on. But he caught my attention at times because every time he came back, he didn't waste my time either. He used to give me money, $20 here, $40 here, $60 here, $20 here, $40. It got to the point I couldn't wait to see him. And it got to the point when I see him, I already knew, boom, that's money making right there. And he came often to the point where it was getting something. It was summertime at that point. He'll say, look, make your little money, whatever, but take a stroll with me. Let's go over to the park so I could talk to you about the word. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because he wasn't wasting my time. So I had one of my homeboys who was also selling Streetwise. He'll hold a spot down, make him some money and sell papers too. It got to the point, everybody was like, hey, KK, Ali was looking for you. Everybody, when they seen him, they already knew, hey, KK, they go Ali. So Ali and go on the spot or whatever and talk to him. He talked to him about the Bible. So I say, look, before we go, I'm going to give me a 6-pack. I was going to give me a 6-pack of beer. And he's like, okay, go ahead. Didn't judge me, none of that. But anyway, because he already know I probably wasn't going to go if he was going to judge me on that. So he didn't even trip. But, when we was he was reading to me about the word. He said, you know what? You gonna have to listen to this because we got to get you ready for the new world order. You are called. Yeah, God told me to tell you that you chosen. We got to get you ready for the new world order. So you got to listen because you're gonna be doing the same thing, teaching the word. I'm drinking my beer looking at him like, dude, who you think you talking to? Me? I ain't finna be teaching no word. What is you talking about? Now at this point, like I said, I'm 21 years old, talking about my music. I'm trying to get my music going. I want to get my production going on. And I'm still homeless. That was strongly in my mind right there. Yeah, when I get on my feet, I'm finna get me a studio and I'm gonna do music, rap. And he over here telling me I'm finna be preaching, teaching the word, reading the Bible and stuff, studying the word, teaching the word. Wasn't hearing that, but it wasn't like I was just telling him, man, look, I'm finna get up and go. No, it wasn't that, just I didn't believe him. But it was like maybe like like maybe like 5 or 6 months of me talking to this guy. And he got so interesting with what he was saying. It was real deep, his teachings, right? I started getting interested. I say, well, you know what? Give me a Bible. He gave me a Bible one day. He even also gave me his cassette tapes where he used to teach the word on his tapes. So he used to give me a couple of tapes. And when you go home, listen to the word. Listen. Actually, this one before I had got my apartment. When I go to the hotel, say, look, when you go to the hotel, listen to this or whatever, you know. So I'm like, okay, cool. But the thing about this, I got interested with reading the Bible. I got interested with listening to his teachings. See, YouTube and all that wasn't even out then. We talking about cassette tapes. Like, wow, this man, he deep right here. And his name was Ali, so I'm thinking he was a Muslim, but he was actually, I think he did say he was a Muslim, but he was teaching the word from the Holy Bible. So, and I got interested. But of course, it didn't last, you know, because when I finally got on my feet, when I found out I was pregnant, I ended up getting on my feet, and I did get me an apartment that year. And I had my son that following year when I was 22. But the thing about it, I did end up getting to the word by reading. I tried to fast. I tried to, you know, listen to Reverend Meeks. And after a while, of course, I fell off with the word. And I started back doing my little drinking and humbugging and rapping and doing all this. But throughout all that, I was situated with life until my son turned like 10. Now, from the time I gave birth to him all the way up to like maybe 10 years old, everything was going fine. But within those moments, I had about 3 cribs because I was moving on up to get something better for me and my son. We started off with a studio. He was getting a little older, so we got a little 1-bedroom. The first studio I had, the janitor broke in my apartment and took my keyboards. So that was the end of the studio right there. The second apartment, it was another janitor who broke in. They didn't take nothing. They just took the shirt, which was weird. They broke in that apartment. The third apartment was the one that I had, you know, left to go to Atlanta. But the third one I had was, I was doing all type of evilness in that apartment or whatever. So they broke in that apartment too, but I think it was more like a relative broke in that apartment that took money, all that. Now, this is a pattern. All 3 of my apartments was broken into, so I just like gave up. I said, you know what, I don't know what's going on. I can't never accumulate anything. I can't enjoy life. I can't enjoy my home without people breaking in and all that. So, and then all that, but my relatives were starting to get jealous again because, like I said, I was starting to grow with material things. You know, I had cars. I had about 4 or 5 cars and all that, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's how I was back then. I liked material things. I work hard for my money, and you know, hey, you know, this is what I do. But after I had my son, when I got off the streets, I ended up getting into a program. See, I skipped a little bit because it's I would be all day with this story. But the point is, when I was a teenager, I was forced to go through circumstances that I shouldn't have to go through. And see, from that point of me being a teenager in my adolescent years, since I was so tortured with being homeless and always in need, and that irritated my spirit and my mind. Now, it didn't destroy me, but it did leave a couple of scars. I did get on my feet within them 10 years. I did get on my feet, but I was still living foul. I was a lesbian. I was doing my own thing, clubbing, drinking, just doing all type of evil under the sun. And so in 2010, I decided to just say, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of my relatives begging and stealing and all this and wishy-washy and gossiping. And my son, godfather, was acting fake and phony, and his lover. And it was just, I just got tired, so I just gave up. Had my mom's going on to just watch my son till I get my marriage right, and I went to Atlanta. I blindly went to Atlanta. Big mistake, but I didn't care at that moment. I just wanted to get away. I was tired. I was just getting fed. I didn't feel like I was the best parent and all that. I was a single parent, of course. The father was nowhere in the picture. When he did find out, like when he was 5 years old, he wanted to go through all this DNA and all. I was like, and plus he was on drugs, so I didn't give a doggone anyway. So that never came about. So he was, that was it right there. But when I left to go to Atlanta, I did come back a year later, because when I went to Atlanta, it didn't work out. I was homeless to the bone out there. I was treated like I was from another planet in Atlanta. Bad place to go when you're from Chicago. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you are out of town, do not go to Georgia. And I was mainly in Stone Mountain, but still, Georgia is a horrible place to go to when you in need. It's horrible. They treat you like a straight alien. So bad place. So after that, I went to Arizona with my pops. He treated me like this is what I'm saying. This is the reason why I'd rather be a resource to people, because I know how it feels when you are in need, and I know how it feels when people treat you like crap because you need them. So when I went to Arizona from Georgia, now I'm like 31 years old at this point. Nice, grown, whatever. But it's because I needed him. This was the worst he has ever treated me. Treated me like crap coming up. Teenager, kid, whatever. He treated me like crap. But in my 30s, he treated me horrible out there. I tried to respect the man. I had my little brother room out there. My brother was back in Chicago. Oh, it was just, bees and this and all, man. I was all type of, and I'm like, what? And they did nothing to this man but try to be respectful. To this day, he's dead, and I'm still trying to find out, well, what was it? But, of course, it was just him. I'm having flashbacks. But my brother ended up coming out there one time. And my brother, he was like, what, I think 22, 23 at the time. And he was kind of using a little foul language at times. You know, he's like, yeah, man, do. And I'm like, hold on. And my pop's like, yeah, man, do. And I was like, huh? So I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he talking like you letting him talk like that? Yeah, he 23. I was like, I don't care. But, I mean, hey, this is his household. I'm like, wait a minute, but you snap at me if I leave a spoon in the sink and try to respect you. And I'm 30-some years old, you keep talking down at me. So, yeah, I end up eventually getting an apartment out there. You know, my first check, I worked at Burger King out there. And I ended up getting an apartment. The man never came out there to my apartment to see me. Never visited me out there when I was in Arizona. I stayed out there in Arizona in my new apartment for maybe 5-6 months. And I came back to Chicago because I started missing my son. But my pops or my brother never visited me in my new apartment out there, which was strange. So I came back because I started missing my son. Yeah, I left. And then I came back. And when I came back, I was extremely homeless. So when I came back, I was homeless. Staying here, staying there. You know, I stayed at my mom's crib for maybe a week, and then me and her get into it again, because she was the type of person, like, when you stay with her, she want you to wash dishes this way. She want you to eat this way. Don't eat over there, eat over here. And she the type of person who, like I said, I love my moms, I love my pops and everything, but this is how they act. She type of person, like, when you stay with her, she get irritated within 2 or 3 days, you got to go. That's how that is. You know, I'm the type of person, like, if I say you could come and stay with me, I would rather put a time limit on it, because I would probably get irritated if you this type of person who's nasty or whatever. Then that would give me a reason to say, look, bro, you gotta come on, man. I'm telling you to clean up. But with certain other people, they may just get irritated because they just used to just being to themselves. You know, they'll oh man, you overstaying your welcome. Because I was homeless, so if I'm in my mom's crib or whatever for about a week, she'll get irritated. Like, look, yeah, you know, it's you ain't got no buddy. You know, that's how that was. So, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. I know when it's time to go. And then it got to the point where, you know, and this is after 2011. It got to the point where whoever I stayed with, I made it my business to leave within 2 or 3 days on my own. It's time for me to go. 2 or 3 days, I'm gone. I'm just like food in the refrigerator. If I haven't eaten it within 2 or 3 days, I'm automatically throwing it in the garbage. And that's just simple as that. So that's how I was when I was homeless. Wherever I stayed or whatever, whoever I was with, 2 or 3 days, I'm automatic. You ain't got to tell me, I'm gone anyway. I already know that after 2 or 3 days, this person is going to get irritated for whatever reason. I don't want no problems. I want to be able to come back, you know. So, yeah, but anyway, So I got tired of all that. So what happened, I ended up getting a job at FedEx by like maybe in 2013. And I ended up just starting paying my ways through hotels. I just started staying in rooms in hotels and stuff like that, which charge you a full amount for a whole apartment. But yeah, you know, I ended up getting a job at FedEx. I didn't care for that. There was labor, slave labor. And when I stopped that, you know what I'm saying, a year and a half, I ended up working at Burger King. I started working at Burger King in 2014. Now I'm still doing, at this point I'm renting rooms. Neighbor, like 6 people in one house. Horrible living. Room and board is a horrible living. I don't care if you do pay your rent on time and you got your little room, you type person who just stays to themselves. Me, I can't do that. I can't live with people. I can't do it. I can't live. You got people that smoke crack. You got people that smoke their weed. You got people that drink and fuss and argue all night and make all this noise in this house. When you room and board, you still living with people. You sharing refrigerators. You sharing the bathroom. People don't clean up the bathroom right. They got dirt on around the tub. It's a horrible thing for me. I can't speak for y'all out there, but I can't do it. So that was at that point. That's like 2015. But when I started working at Burger King, didn't realize that was just the peak of the blessing of me getting back on my feet like permanently, and then realize that people think they have to work at a high corporate place in order to get on their feet. You have to work at this big executive office and cubicle desk settings and stuff like that to become this very successful person. That's a lie. You got God in your life. He said you go over there work at Taco Bell, you make the best of that. That's where he wanted you to be, and you find yourself making it financially and all that. Stick with it. You know, I had no complaints. I was getting raises every year or 2 years. I don't know. I was fine with it. You know, but you know, so 2000, skipping some things, I end up eventually getting on my feet, and you know, working at Burger King was very, very fun. It was cool. It had its moments, but boss loved me and everything. So I went from Burger King, I started in 2014 all the way to 2021. Like I said, I've skipped some things in life, but I'm just trying to get to the point of where I'm at right now. Burger King was cool, you know, and I've accumulated, I think, like 3 raises since I worked there. And I've been blessed with a car that I now pay a note on, and I've been blessed with an apartment. I got this apartment where I'm at in 2018. My son is still staying with his godfather. His godfather is a person who helped me get my first apartment because I met him through a program. I met him through the program that I end up working for was Heartland Alliance. You can go back and look at the video about the Streetwise interview I had. I spoke about Heartland Alliance. That was the place I was working for back in 2001. I was working for them, and I met his godfather through that program because I was in the shelter. And he was a job specialist who came to the shelter, and that he helped me out with a job. And he said, look, I can help you out with a job, but you can. It was something about he can help me out. He was a job specialist, and somebody else that was a shelter specialist or something. But they were still in the same program at Heartland Alliance called Family Business Community, FBC, Families Building Community within Heartland Alliance. So he was the job specialist. Somebody else was there just giving me the place to stay, I meant to say. So I ended up having a place to stay through the program, and he ended up helping me get a job working with them at Heartland Alliance. And he became my son's godfather because I needed to work at Heartland Alliance. I had to work there at a program with drug addicts and stuff like that. I had to work. It was an overnight community place. It was a 24-hour community place where the participants stayed there 24 hours. So they needed someone to cover an overnight shift, and my mother wasn't willing to keep my son that time. Why? She said she didn't feel like keeping him 24 hours. So over that night, that graveyard shift, whatever. Totally discouraged, but I believe that was Satan at the time. So his godfather was like, well, you know what? I'll keep him. Now my son was probably about, I think, 1 or something like that. I was like, huh? I keep it. You got to go to work. He don't want me with the job, so it's going to make him look better if I didn't go. He said, you got to go. You got to go. I keep it. I was like, well, your mama not going to keep him. I was like, okay, whatever. And that's how I started. So he ended up keeping. I think he was like 1 year old then. You know what I'm saying? And my son now is 22, and he's 21. I don't know why I keep saying 22. He's 21 right now. He's still in his care. See, back then he was just babysitting him like on and off. When I had to work, he'll babysit him on a weekend. My mother babysit him on the weekend, and he been in his life ever since. So when I was back and forth trying to get my thing back on point, I just let him just keep until I get back on my feet. And ever since then, boom, he's just been with him. It's been a blessing that he has. I ain't mad at nobody, you know, but everything is designed like that for a reason. So, anyway, so yeah, in 2021, well, with that job also, I end up leaving that job in 2010 because I end up moving to Atlanta. I left that job because they started changing the program around, and the supervisor there was an a-hole. He ended up eventually getting fired when I went to Arizona because they said they found him online talking about all the employees and the clients there. And I knew it was something about him because that's what also made me decide to say the heck with Chicago. I got tired of the job. I got tired of my relatives and everything. Come to find out he was an a-hole, and they ended up firing him. But that's the reason why I just went on and just said I got tired of everything. It just wasn't for me no more. I shouldn't have gave up like that. You know, bad move, but that's why, you know. So, yeah. So, you know, last year, 2021, I left Burger King. I really do felt that I was led by the Holy Spirit to leave when the COVID came about. I was preaching the word of God 2 months prior to me leaving, and I felt the Holy Spirit within the place. Everybody was definitely listening to the word when I teach it. I was at times like, where's this coming from? It got to the point where I was glad to teach the word, you know, and they were all listening. I couldn't believe it at times when I was teaching it, but it felt good. So as it was getting closer, you know, with this virus coming about, everybody was being forced to wear these masks. And I wasn't feeling it at all. So maybe there had to been a part of me having the courage to leave. And I think that's more likely what that was. So I prayed about it. I was just like Abraham. I prayed 2 weeks in advance about it. I was very, very scared. I was stressed. I'm like, okay, I can't be making the same mistake like I did back in 2010. Lord help me. And yep, I was led to leave. They totally did not want me to leave. Right now, I think he probably wasn't mad hiring me, but yeah, so I left in 2021, and I've been here ever since in this apartment. I made the video about me thinking I was going to get evicted. I went through my little pilgrimage mode. I thought I was just going to lose my mind, but actually that was just the conviction I had to go through because he was throwing the Holy Spirit in me, and I still had sin in me, and it wasn't going to mix. So I had to go through my convulsions and stuff like that and get it all out of me so I could become 100% chosen, so I could be this ambassador he's choosing me to be to follow him. And here we are today. No drinking, no alcohol drinking, no smoking weed, no smoking cigarettes, no humbugging, no none of that. I don't have no associates, like friends. I don't have none of that. I don't have any relatives. I don't have no one. I'm here solo by myself, along with Yahshua HaMashiach, my father Elohim, Yahweh Elohim. And that's what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? God gave me the adopted name Keziah. One of Joe's 3 daughters' names was Keziah, and that's what he gave me, and I had that name ever since. And Hakadashi is the Holy One in Hebrew. So here I am right now, living, walking testimony. I truly believe that I've received the mark like Cain did. Not saying that I'm like Cain, because I'm never like Cain. I can fix my mouth and say that. But when Cain did what he did, he threw him out there and as a wanderer, And Cain thought that was going to be it for him, but he did put a mark on Cain for no one to harm him. And I truly believe that's what had happened to me, and that's what's still going on. But I'm here because I've been chosen all along and did not know it. Did not know it. I had a mark on me ever since I was born. And all the things that I've been through, all the things that I was going through, I'm here. I've cut out some good parts of it. Maybe I can make up another part to it or whatever. But I've been through some stuff, y'all, that I didn't even mention. But I can say that I ended up developing bleeding ulcers back in 97. I don't have it no more, but back then I was standing in an abandoned building. And I developed bleeding ulcers because it was just all messed up. It was all messed up. I thought I was supposed to have been dead. You know what I'm saying? Long time ago. It's been times I supposed to have been out of there. But that's how I believe that I had the mark on me from Elohim to not to be harmed, touched, killed, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here, walking testimony. Any one of y'all got these stories to tell and y'all still here, y'all may be a little marked, bruised, or whatever, scarred, but you still here to tell your story, and you know that Yahweh Elohim was the reason. You better shout hallelujah every time somebody get on your nerves, every time something bad happen. Think about your past and say, if I overcame that, I could overcome this one. You can brush this what's going on right now off. Brush it off. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So love y'all. Stay up. Let's have a great Sabbath evening. And, you know, just stay prayed up. Cleanse yourselves. Know that this is the temple of God. Treat it right. It's going to treat you right. Shalom.